So guys, I have shared a link with you in the chat section, and make sure you open the link, and we are going to start our hands-on session. So yeah, the first thing, this is the topics we are going to cover today. So yeah, so first let us start by adding a PR. Okay, a PR is a pull request. So go to the link that I just sent in the chat, and I'm also going to do it alongside. So मिलके करेंगे. So yeah. So you went on this, and first task is first we'll fork it. Okay, because why? Because we can't just clone it and work on it. So we have to fork it. So it's to raise a PR. So let's fork it. So if you have a GitHub account, so fork it in your own account. Okay. I guess I'm audible and visible. Okay. So first fork it in your own account, and you will see something like this: your name slash the repository name fork from the original repository. Okay, so I hope everyone is following this. This is a very simple and basic pull request you are going to create, just to get a practice, because October is just a few days away and we have to make valid pull requests on various organizations. So okay, after this, if you have done till this, then we will click here and we will copy this. Okay, you also have this. If you also guys, if you have any doubt, okay, if you have any doubt, yeah, you can raise your hand or you can ask in the chat section, or you can just unmute and ask me directly. Okay, there's no issue in that. So first we'll fork this. If you, after we fork it, we will clone it. Okay, this is written as clone. There are various methods we can clone, like from HTTPS, SSH, and GitHub CLI. So we will do it from we'll use Git Bash. So we'll do it like this. We will take the HTTPS one. So we'll copy this, and then I'll go to my desktop, and I will open my Git Bash. So guys, you right click and you will see Git Bash here in your laptop. So if you are following this, you can just type the command git clone, just paste the link. Okay, git clone https github.com/your username and the repository name, which is Hacktoberfest practice add yourself.git. Okay, then this is the git clone command. So we'll add it. So this will the repository will be get cloned to our local computer. Okay, then we will change the directory. Okay, we'll use cd to change the directory, and we'll go here. Okay, Hacktoberfest practice add yourself. If you guys are following, so that's great. So yeah, now we are in the Hacktoberfest practice add yourself directory. We'll also open this. Okay, great. So first, okay, let's open it in VS Code. If you guys have any other code editor, you can use that. You are free to use that. Okay, someone have doubt. Okay, you can unmute yourself and just ask if you have any doubt.
Sir,
Yeah.
says showing that unable to access that link, unable to get local issuer certificate.
Which link unable to get access to?
That a forked repository link.
Uh, like this one.
Yes, sir.
Have you forked it earlier?
Yes, sir. Actually.
You have to delete that first.
Okay, sir.
You can work on the same repository. You have it in a local, right?
No, sir.
You don't have it in a local.
No, sir.
Just forked it, right? So
Yes.
okay. So yeah, you can use this and go to some other directory and git clone there. You have git installed, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Wait. Any other issue? Anyone else? Abhinav, are you facing any issue?
No sir, I was just तो पहले से ही है.
Okay. Please unmute yourself and ask right away if anyone is facing any issue. Okay. So I'll open it in VS Code, and if you are using any other like IDE or Notepad or anything, that is also okay. Am I clear till this? Like, are you guys able to follow up to this?
Yeah.
Okay, great. So like now my VS Code is open. If anyone is like having any issues, you can read the README file here. I have mentioned how to properly install. All the installation steps are actually mentioned here, whatever I'm doing right now. So you can just refer to it. Okay, everything is mentioned here, what to do, what not to do. So yeah, then we used this, we have done this, we have done this. Now we have to add a reference to the original repository. In the last session we have studied about git remote add upstream, which just which is used to add a reference to the original repository. Okay, here it is. You may see that ye wala original repository hai, which is from the OpenText.org. So yeah, we will do that. Yeah. Okay, just copy it from the README git remote add upstream, and this is the link. Okay, the original GitHub repository, so that we are tracking the changes from both the original and the forked repository. Okay, we'll just add it. Okay, now how to check if you have remote or not? Okay, you can see this origin. We have two, which is your forked repository is the origin where we will fetch. Fetch is like pull, so we will where we will pull all the code and where we can push all the code. The origin one is your forked repository, and the upstream one is the original repository, which is from the OpenText.org. You can name it anything, but mostly developers prefer to name it as origin and upstream. Okay. So we are not going to use pull because yeah, nobody like it is up to date. So yeah. The next what we will do is
Yeah.
Hello.
Yeah. Your origin is like your main branch.
What?
Your origin is main branch.
Origin is not a branch actually. We are just naming it so that GitHub will like fetch from the same link and will push to the same link, which is origin. Origin is your forked repository. Okay, and the upstream is the main repository from which you have forked it. Okay, so to track the different changes, like imagine कि मेरा मैं जाके इधर हैकटोबर OpenText.org में एक कुछ चेंजेस कर दूंगा, बट इफ यू आर नॉट एडिंग द रिमोट आपको वो चेंजेस नहीं दिखाएगा. ओके, सो आपको वो चेंजेस नहीं दिखाएगा तो मर्ज कॉन्फ्लिक्ट विल क्रिएट. Okay, so in order to create remote so that you can push, okay, first we will push to the upstream, then you will create branch, you will push to upstream. Okay, then we will create a pull request to the main repository, which is this one. Okay, so after git remote, yeah, we have added a remote, then we can, or if you want, it's not compulsory to do. So yeah, let us skip that thing. Okay, let us do it. Okay, whatever. So we'll check out a new branch. We'll make a new branch. Okay, so I want everyone to name their branch. Name the new branch your first name. Okay, like I am doing git checkout B. What git checkout B does it? It does this. It's checkouts and creates in one command. Okay, so it checkouts and creates a new branch for you. So git checkout B, and I'm creating a new branch. Okay, now it's wrote switch to a new branch. Okay, now you can see here from the main branch, now we are in Anirudh branch. Okay, I guess you guys are able to follow me. So okay,
Anirudh, sorry to interrupt again.
Yeah.
Okay. So basically, my question is that your origin is the remote repository that the project was originally cloned or upstream.
Yeah. The upstream one is the original repository is the upstream. Okay. And the forked repository is the origin. Actually, we can name it anything we want to, but as the standard naming convention we are following, we are naming it origin and upstream.
Okay, that's great. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, great. So after this, let me open my code editor once again. So I hope you guys are following along, because yeah, it is a very good start for creating your first PR if you haven't. So okay, after this, everyone is here. I am like expecting everyone to be on this stage. Can I get a raise hand actually, so that I can confirm that every one of us are on the same page? If you have any doubt, be it any any small doubt or anything, you can just ask or drop it in the chat section, and I would love to hear your doubts. Okay, so great. So next, what we are going to do is,
Anirudh,
yeah.
yeah. So if I means if I want that I want to fork a repository, right? Means
Hmm.
I synchronize the upstream repositories, then I could use like upstream or origin.
Which one? If you want to you fork the repository.
Yeah, fork repository means I want to synchronize, right?
Huh.
To use the origin one or upstream ones.
After forking, you just to add the remote one. What is remote does this? The remote just add a reference, so you can push and get, like, you can push some code there, and you can get some code from the your remote repository. The forked one we name is as origin repository. Okay, and the upstream one is the repository from which we have cloned. Okay, so after some changes in the upstream branch, upstream repository, which is the original repository, so we can see here it will be like, see, fetch upstream. You can see the fetch upstream, right?
Yeah. Sure.
Yeah, the fetch upstream, what it does is, it after, if I go here and if I go to the original repository and make some changes, you'll see here that the branch is behind, or the branch is ahead. Okay, whatever one of those, if it is ahead, it will show you to contribute, and if it is behind, it will show you to fetch. Okay, you can clearly see it is written fetch upstream. Okay, so this indicates that the original one, we name it as upstream.
Well, if I add to means if I interested to add some more the data like more the documents, then I should push it in the upstream part, right?
Yeah. You first you have to just first you will write git push u origin. Okay, then your branch name, that is the convention. Git push u origin, and the branch name, you have to do it just first time, because you are pushing in the upstream, so you will use the u flag. But afterwards, once you have referenced it, that we are going to push in the upstream, then you can use just git push. You are like, it is both okay. It is like, it is not compulsory to use the u flag always. Just once it is needed to say git that we are pushing our changes to the upstream.
Okay, fine. Yeah.
Anirudh, I wanted to ask that whatever changes we are making and we are pushing and pulling, that we are doing it in the upstream, right?
No, we are doing in the origin.
Okay, so the changes like any change I make in the VS Code, that will be reflected in the origin.
Yeah. If you see,
And
we have forked it, right? So if you just like, if fork नहीं करके अगर बस इधर से अब ले लेते, you know, इधर से अगर ले लेते, तो origin नहीं दिखा था हमको, because this is the main repository, right?
okay.
Yeah, because we have forked it, so हमको दो रिमोट है हमारे लिए अभी, एक ओरिजिनल वाला और एक हमारा वाला. Okay, the upstream one git does it automatically, because git का नेमिंग कन्वेंशन में ओरिजिनल वाले को हम अपस्ट्रीम बोलते हैं, और हमारे वाले को हम ओरिजिन बोलते हैं.
Okay, all right.
Okay, great. Okay, so moving forward, so Okay, so I want everyone to open the contributors folder. Okay, you can see the contributors folder here. So please open this contributors folder, and we'll add a README file. Okay, just write your name. Okay, your name and underscore switch. Okay, .md. MD is a markdown file. It is a accepted markdown file of GitHub. We are using README in our this one. This whole thing is made using README. It is a syntax, basically a markdown syntax from MDN. So yeah, it is a pretty easy syntax to learn. Actually, it's just like plain English. So yeah. So there are few like question which I just put here. So you can just come to anirudh.md and copy that question, or you can just add whatever you feel like. Okay, so you can just add whatever you feel like here, whatever. Just okay. So थोड़ा बोल देता हूँ about the syntax. The hashtag, each hashtag means, see, this is a H3 now. Okay, so each hashtag means one heading. So this one is H1, this one is H2, this one is H3. If I put one again, now this is a H4 syntax. If you know HTML, basics of HTML, you know what is H1, H2, H4. They are headings of different sizes. So yeah, this is a markdown syntax we are using in GitHub. The MD stands for markdown. So we'll just add whatever you like. Actually, it is just a practice pull request. So just add anything you like here. Okay, and after that, you can go to your terminal. Okay, you add anything you like. So then you go to terminal and you just check it by writing git status. Okay, we have learned about git status. So you can see now that git is successfully tracking our files, and we can see a new file being added. Okay, which is in the contributors folder. That is anirudh underscore switch.md is a new file. Okay, now git asked us to add it. Okay, so I guess everyone is following and in this stage. Okay, just add anything you want to add in that file. Actually, just add anything you want to add. This is just to make you familiar with how pull requests work, and yeah. And after you create pull requests, how I will merge various pull requests. So we'll just see that. So after this, what we have to do, we have to add it. Okay, so we'll use the command git add. Okay, we can write git add space dot to add everything. Okay, and we'll commit it. Okay, with a good commit message, that is added my name. Okay, now you can see we have one file changed, and we have a new SHA value of 6 digits of 7 digits. Okay, we have a new SHA value, and this is our commit message, and we have done it in Anirudh branch. So now if we'll go to the main branch, okay, now keep an eye here, and okay, so I'll check out to the main branch. I'll check out to the main branch. One minute, guys. Okay, and you can see we are not seeing the file. It is saying that it is deleted. Okay, so it means that we do not have this file in the main branch. We have it only in the Anirudh branch. This is a good practice to follow, because most of the organization also prefer this, that you should not merge anything or push anything into a main branch. You should rather do it in a particular branch. Okay, so we'll again check out to our branch, and we can see the file appearing again. Okay, we have added it, we have committed it. Now we have just to push it. So we'll use git push origin our branch name. Okay, the command is git push origin, and this one is a branch name. I hope everyone is able to follow me. So git push origin branch and enter.
This we are pushing it to the origin branch that we have forked.
Yeah, the forked branch.
Okay.
Okay, so now see, it is clearly written that create a pull request for Anirudh on GitHub by visiting this. Okay, so we'll just go here. Okay, we'll just go here and just refresh it, and you can see a prompt. Okay, you can see a prompt. Wait, I'll go to my branch and see. You can see this, that this branch is one commit ahead of the OpenText origin main. Okay, now we'll create. Now we'll click on contribute. Okay, and see, here it is clearly written that this branch is one commit ahead of OpenText origin main. Open a pull request to contributor changes upstream. Okay, contributor changes upstream. Upstream is the main branch from which we have forked this repository. Okay, so after going to your branch, you can see here I'm in the Anirudh branch now. Okay, because I have made the changes in Anirudh branch, not in the main branch. So you won't see this in the main branch. You are only going to see this in the Anirudh branch. Okay, so I'll open a pull request. Okay, so you can see here what it does. Here it is the base repository. What is the base repository? Base repository is a repository from which we have forked that repository, and this is the main branch where we are merging it. We are seeing that merge it to the OpenText original repository, and in the main branch from the head repository. The head repository is our repository, which is Anirudh Panda / the repository name, and compare it with this branch. Which branch is this? Anirudh branch, from which we have made the changes. So you can see the changes here. The plus sign indicates what we have added here, and this is the commit message committed on. Okay, but if I just change it into main, you won't see anything. Okay, there is nothing to compare because we have made a changes in this Anirudh branch and not in a main branch. So okay, we'll leave anything here. Okay, check this PR. Anything, then I'll here the button is there, create a pull request. Okay, I'll just click it. Okay, now the pull request is created successfully. So if you guys are here, like on this stage, I can see Arpita's pull request. So guys, if you are facing anything, okay, great. Aniket, Disha, great. Okay, so guys, if you face any issue while creating a pull request or have, so you can ask. So I have added some GitHub actions here. GitHub actions is a it is a bot. It just automates your workflows. So yeah, some other day I'll discuss this. So you may see a GitHub action on your comment, on your PR's comment that is welcoming you to the organization. GitHub actions, like if you want to learn GitHub actions, I can share some good resources. Okay, so I'll check this. Let me check this PR. So yeah, so I'll if फ्यूचर में जाके अगर आपको एक like open source अपना project करना है, and if you want other people to contribute to it, so you'll be like using this page quite a lot, which is like reviewing changes. You will check what are the files changed. The plus indicates all the like lines added. Okay, you can see the how many commits. Okay, this guy did only one commit. Okay, so yeah, that's great. Now you can easily like if you are a maintainer. Okay, only I have the like permission, okay, to merge this pull request. So what I'll do is I'll like, if there are two options here, then there are basically three options here. Okay, you can see one is create a merge commit, one is squash and merge, and what is rebase and merge. We have learned about rebase and what is a rebase and what is a merge commit does. Okay, so and the squash and merge thing is like, imagine a lot of commits on this particular PR. Okay, if this guy goes and added some few other lines and just pulled a new PR, so it will come here that this guy made this Priyanshu made these changes. Okay, Priyanshu made these changes, and there will be another commit created. So now there are two commits from like to me to merge. So what I can do is I can squash and merge it. Like the two commits will be converted into one commit. Okay, and then we can merge it to the base branch, which is the main branch. So I'll just create a merge commit here because there is only one commit which is done by Priyanshu. So I'll just merge here. We can also change as the maintainer. I can also change these. Okay, so I'll then confirm merge. Okay, this is a pretty simple thing, and you can see merged here, and now this thing is merged. Okay, I'll basically merge everything. Okay, so this is how you create a PR here basically. So after your PR is created, we can see that a commit is created here. That merged pull request number from paradox pd/Priyanshu. Okay, we can see this, and this is how you do it. Basically, this is how pull request is done. So if you want like to create some issue in this PR, okay, so you'll go here, you'll click on new issue, and you'll clear anything you want to like I will write change color. So you can write, and you can also add assignees. Okay, I can't obviously you can't add assignee. I only can add assignee because I'm the maintainer of this project. Okay, then you can like submit a new issue. You can this also works in a markdown syntax. Okay, this also works in a markdown syntax. Like if I write hello, so this also works in a markdown syntax. Okay, so you can see that styling with markdown is supported. You can click here and learn more about how the markdown syntax is done. Okay, so now a issue is created here. Like I can like see the issue and the comment, and if I want to like work on it or like anything can be done. This is a demo repository which you can like practice. Okay, this is just for practice for Hacktoberfest. Great that you guys are just creating a pull request. Great. Now, okay, keep creating, guys. Yeah, this is an active this is an active repository. So I'll merge everything once the session gets over. So if you have any doubt regarding how to push your code, then you can ask. Okay, basically this is not code we have pushed, but more or less you are going to use the same command, and the same things are going to happen. So if you have anything to ask, you can ask now, or else I'll move to the next part of the session.
What were the three options you were getting during the merge when you were merging the PR?
Okay, see this one. The three options are create a merge commit, squash and merge, and rebase and merge. These are the three options. Okay.
Yeah, what all these mean?
A merge commit is basically that if there are 4 and 5 commits, so it will just merge all the commits, all the 5 commits. Okay, all the 5 commit, it will just merge one by one into the main repository, into the main branch. But what squash and merge does it squash the 5 commits and will make it into a single commit. Then it will merge it into our main branch. So the benefit of using squash and merge is that the number of commits on the repository will be less, so it is easier to track the history that kaun se commit mein bug aaya and all that. But most of the organization prefer a merge commit because what the difference is, squash and merge क्या करता है कि सब commit को जो भी like ये PR में जितने भी commit आए उसको मर्ज करके एक सिंगल कमिट बना देता है. सो इट इज हार्ड टू ट्रैक द एग्जैक्ट कोड जिधर बग आ रहा है, तो हार्ड टू ट्रैक इट. बट मर्ज कमिट में क्या करता है, हर एक कमिट को वो अलग अलग से मर्ज करता है. तो वो इजी हो जाता है कि ये कमिट में बग है तो वो SHA वैल्यू को हम लेके जाएंगे और वो कमिट में जाके चेक कर सकते हैं कि क्या बग है। तो इसमें थोड़ा ढूंढना मुश्किल हो जाएगा। And rebase and merge is the same thing that we have discussed, that instead of creating another commit, rebase क्या करता है, सीधा जो मतलब वो ब्रांच के सीधा हेड में लाके जोड़ देता है दूसरे ब्रांच को। ओके, दूसरे ब्रांच को सीधा वो हेड में लाके जोड़ देता है। सो इसमें क्या होता है, जो ये सेकंड ब्रांच है इसका पूरा हिस्ट्री रीराइट हो जाता है, क्योंकि अगर वो सेकंड ब्रांच इधर था और ये इधर था तो ये पूरा ऐसा आगे आ जाता है, तो इसका पूरा हिस्ट्री रीराइट हो जाता है। तो इस पे इसका इस सेकंड ब्रांच का हिस्ट्री अगर ट्रैक करना है तो वो थोड़ा दिक्कत होता है डीपेस एंड मार्क में। आई होप
Yeah.
Okay, great. Okay, so any more questions, anyone? Or I shall proceed with Hacktoberfest, the exciting thing you guys are waiting. Okay, so this is how you create a PR basically. PR. So yeah. So ये Hacktoberfest भी हम beginner there are lot of beginner projects you can find. मैं बताऊंगा how to find beginner projects to contribute. ऐसे नहीं कि आपको सीधा जाके Android में pull request देना है. So we won't do that. Okay, if you are skilled enough, you can do that. But yeah, otherwise. So I guess there are no issues as of now.
Well, Anirudh.
Yeah.
Yeah. So in the fork, it means that you can add someone, right? In the fork means some, if you are a developer, like you are a senior developer, and under you 3 to 4, 5 means like junior developers are working, right? So in that you can add those junior developers in the fork.
You can add them in the repository actually. That can be done by going to settings, and there is a manage access button here. Okay, so after that it will ask me password obviously. Okay, so after this,
In the fork also you can do it, right?
yeah, we can assign them, but they have to be like they have to be like a maintainer of this repository. Okay, so we have
that's
to
fine, but
yeah, we have to assign we can assign them in the pull request.
Sure, yeah, fine. But in the fork you can means monitor those what they are doing, right?
Yeah, we can do it, because you will do the git fetch, right? You will do the git fetch, so you can also like stay at par with the original repository.
Okay, so the question is that being a means junior developer, so I'm working in some project, and you are my senior developer, so you found some bug in my code, so you want to means modify. So after the modifying is done, then that branch is means pushed into the origin branch or other branch.
See, if you have, there are like different scenarios here. Okay, so if you have created a pull request, you have created from another branch, so I can just add like change these, or see like here you can see I can go to Dipankar's file change, and I can here add something like change this line. Okay, I can add this.
So well, that you are changing this in the setup file, right?
I'm not changing this. I'm just asking him to modify it. I can't change your like commit. I can just review it. I can just ask him to make these changes, so he can make the necessary changes and can push again.
Okay, fine. Yeah.
Great. So okay, so I'm moving on to the next part, which is Hacktoberfest. Okay, so today is 21 of September, and the Hacktoberfest is just some days away. Okay, it is just 8 days away here. So you can visit the Hacktoberfest website. Okay, so you can I'm just posting it in your chat box. Okay, you can visit this website, and yeah, I'm just going to like make you go through this website, and there are some rules which are there which you have to follow so as to like be eligible. You have basically in Hacktoberfest is just like open source like event, you can say it. Okay, it is an event by GitHub and several sponsors like DigitalOcean and Dev. So in Hacktoberfest, what you have to do is you have to create 4 pull requests in 1 month. Okay, in 30 days you have to create 4 pull requests, but there are certain criteria to their pull request. The pull request we have created now may or may not be eligible, but there are certain verified organizations where you can create pull requests, and at, after creating 4 valid pull requests, they'll confirm it and they'll send you some swags and whatever. Okay, so this is the Hacktoberfest website, which just went live few weeks back, and there is a wait, yeah, learn more. So there is a resources page here where you can find almost everything related to it. So we can see here. Okay, this is for everyone, like maintainers, quality standards, participation, beginners. We can check the beginners part. So it is written that if you are new to open source, you can take a look at the introduction to open source tutorial. Okay, this is a tutorial which they have linked series to make a first contribution. It is required to familiarize yourself and how to create a pull request, which we have done. Okay, so tasks for beginners. These are some few repository which have beginner level tasks, which you can find here, and these are tasks for intermediates. Okay, so there are more resources here. Everything is for beginners here, so we can use this, or there are a lot more organizations which we can go and contribute to. We can, like, this is for me. Okay, this is for a maintainer. If I'm maintaining a repository, like I'm maintaining few repositories, so what are the things that I have to do? So I have to add a label. Okay, I have to add a label which is Hacktoberfest. Okay, you can add issues, you can add label to your issues. Okay, how you can add issues, label to your issues is like you'll go here and change color, and I'll add a label here. Okay, this one, like it's a bug, so a bug label here. This is a label. In GitHub we can do it. So yeah, so you have to follow the contributing guidelines. Okay, so if you check this repository, okay, I have a like valid repository here which you guys can also like contribute to in during the month of October. There are few issues here if you guys are like want to work on it. So you can see few labels like enhancement, Hacktoberfest, help wanted. So these Hacktoberfest labels are necessary for GitHub to track that which labels are marked as Hacktoberfest, so that after these get resolved, they can track that if that person have contributed in a valid pull request or it's just spamming. Okay, so this is how it works. So there is no like participation form or something. You just have to like after in the month sorry, in the October one, a link will come here which you have to just link with your GitHub. Then you are good to go. You can contribute to any repository you want to, which have Hacktoberfest in their description. It means that there's like this. You can see here. Wait, you can see here. See, you can see the Hacktoberfest label here. Topics. So those repositories which have the Hacktoberfest here are only eligible for the Hacktoberfest event. The rest are not eligible because this is the standard we have to follow. Okay. So I guess you guys are clear about Hacktoberfest. If you have any questions regarding this particular event, you can ask because I have participated earlier. If not, I can move to Google Summer of Code, which is the most hyped and the most like popular open source programs among everyone. No doubts. Great. Okay. So another thing is Google Summer of Code. Okay. So what is Google Summer of Code? It is a global program focused on bringing more student developers into open source software development. Students work with an open source organization on a 10-week programming project during their break from school. Okay. So there are many organizations that participate in Google Summer of Code. There are big organizations like Chromium and others. You can check all the organizations here. Okay. Okay, so let's share this website with you. Let me do that first. So this is their official site, and you can like go to their organization tab, and you can check the organization you want to contribute or you want to know more about. Okay, so all the redirect links are here. So what you can do is, if you are suppose if you want to contribute to uh, a particular tech stack, okay, like if you want to contribute to JavaScript, okay, anything with JavaScript, so you can come here and search. Okay, you can search JavaScript, and it will show the projects which have used JavaScript. And see, you can see here C, C++, JavaScript, Python, CMake, and GUX. Okay, this is a Metacall. This is a big organization. They are participating in Google Summer of Code. So you can then go learn more and see their projects here. Okay, view projects, view idea list. Okay, then you can chat with them. Okay, you can chat with them. You can contact them. Okay, so see, here are some projects. Here are some projects from the previous 2021 Google Summer of Code. These are some projects under Metacall. Okay, you can go to their GitHub. Okay, you can go to their GitHub. You can go to their website. You can see the repository. If you are interested, you can start interacting with them in their official, like they may be on the Slack or Gitter or Discord, anything they are on. You can just go there and you can ask your doubt, or you can just go here and you can check some issues. Okay, there may be there are always issues there, so you can check. And if you are like interested in working any of these issues, you can just ask them. So this is how you interact with one organization. Okay, not particularly this, but there are many organizations participates in GitHub every year. There are a lot of organizations, and you are आपको बस जाके उधर उनके साथ थोड़ा ये कर मतलब you have to make good relations with them. Like you have to show that you are genuinely interested in their organizations. Or else they are not obviously they won't take someone who have no interest and just doing it for the sake of like a Google Summer of Code, because Google Summer of Code is a very good like opportunity for all the open source developers, but doing it for the sake of money and all is not appreciated in the open source community. So this is how you can also find projects here, 2021 projects. There are a lot of projects here. You can just find it. You can view by organization and all that. This is a Google Summer of Code, and similar to this Google of Summer of Code, in the last session only, Google introduced a Google Season of Docs. Okay, what Season of Docs is? This is the Google Season of Docs is particularly for documentation. Okay, we write good code, but the most important part of writing good code is maintaining a documentation regarding that code. Okay, so that everyone can understand. So due to that, Google has started a new program, okay, which is named as Google Season of Docs. This program started the previous year in 2021, like the current year. So this program is currently over, but this program, what it does is it gives professional technical writers an opportunity to gain experience in open source. So similarly to Summer of Code, we also have various organizations participating here. So similarly, you can view the previous session and you can see all the projects here, all the organization here. You can go to any organization and just interact with them, and so that they know that this guy is interested, and we can take him or her on the next session. Okay, this is how it basically works. So there are all the procedures and how to apply is in this website, so I'm not going to bore you with that. You can just check here. Another okay, these there are like बहुत time in लोग को अभी आने के लिए 4-5 महीना है, but in the October you can participate in Hacktoberfest, and there is another like open source program which is coming next month, which is Script Winter of Code. This is a very popular open source program, and it is totally made for beginners. Okay, like us, it is totally made for beginners like us, where you will be given you have to choose some project, and you have to work on that particular project, and there will be mentors, there will be project admins for you, so that whenever you are stuck, you can just ask them. So This is script winter of code where you can go and you can if you have a good open source project which you can think can help and benefit others, so you can add it here, register here. If you're a participant, you can register here. If you want to be a mentor, so you can register it here. So this is a very good opportunity for you to just start your open source journey. So yeah, I'm sharing the link in the like chat. So if you want to register, you can register. The registrations are open. Okay. So similarly, if you want to see beginner friendly projects, I have made a website which I named as Open Tech. So you can go to my website, and here not only you can find beginner friendly projects, but you can find resources also. You can find resources and events and programs like that. So you can just go here. You can go to the event page, and in the event page, you can go here and select a month. Okay, like I'll go to October. So you can see October, these events are going to happen, which is Open Source India, DrupalCon, Welcome WordCamp US Online, KubeCon. This is happening. KubeCon plus Cloud Native North Conference, North American Conference. This is happening, and yeah, there are some great programs you can participate. You can go to the website. You can participate. Similarly, there are a lot of programs I have listed so that you do not have to do all those Google searches. Similarly, if I choose October here, obviously there is Code Heat. This is by Fossacia. Fossacia is a great organization, and it also participate in Google Summer of Code every year, so you can check it out. So there is Hacktoberfest, which is going to happen in October 1, and there is NJAC Winter of Code, which will be going to happen similarly. So you can just go here and select a month, and you can see that which open source programs are happening is which month. Similarly, there is a tutorials page here. Like there is basic tutorials here about Git and GitHub and everything. So you can check it out here. And that's how you begin your journey in open source. And there are a lot of organizations which actually promote open source. So if you are genuinely interested in them, you can just go and you can just go to their Slack channels. Like I am a part of organization known as Moja Global. So this organization participated in Google season of docs. So I reached out to them and I told that I want to contribute to their like documentary. So currently you can see here, I have some pull request merge here. So that is how you go. I went to their Slack channel and I just had a conversation with their project admins and maintainers, and they just guided me on what to do and what to not. And then I just started my like adding my code, adding my documentation here. So yeah, they are very friendly. You can go to any such organization. You can go. Okay. Okay, great. So if you guys have any questions till now, you can just ask me. Yeah. I hope I gave a brief about how open source actually works and how to participate and how to just start your open source journey. Because as a beginner, I also had a lot of problems finding good organization and good projects to contribute to. So yeah. So anything you want to ask me? Yeah, hello.
Anirudh, is there a way that we can virtually see our project on GitHub itself without actually going into our local computer?
I don't understand what you're saying.
Like without forking, or just like, can we see a project running
Yeah,
on its source code on
yeah,
virtually on GitHub platform?
yeah, you can see it without forking. You also can see it if you want to see what platform they're using, like this one. Okay, this is my organization. You can see everything here. You can see my like pages here. You can see the license. You can see my index.html here. You can just see the code here.
A running program. Can we see a complete project working?
Yeah, if they have put a link, okay, if they have hosted it somewhere, okay, so you can obviously go there and visit what this website does. Like this is a web page, okay, and I have hosted it, so I have my link attached here. Okay, mostly maintained communities, what they does is they include everything in the readme, like I have done. So you can see that what are the future plans, what it is built with. I have written everything that what I've used here, like Auth0, HTML, everything. So you can just see them, and if you think that you can contribute to it, you just fork it, or you can go to the issues tag and just see whatever the issues are there.
Another question, if we just have to change a little bit of documentation, so can we do that primarily on GitHub, or do we have to again get it on our local computer?
No, it is a you have to fork it. Okay, if you are working on some others, like some other repository, okay, so you have to fork it because it is because they won't allow you to.
Fork it and get in our local computer.
Yeah, forget, and first you will fork it, then you will get the forked repository, then you will use git clone to get into a
Yeah.
local computer. Then the same procedure you have to just modify and push.
So doesn't matter the amount of change, we have to do it if we want to contribute.
Yeah, if you want to contribute, you have to whatever it is, be it a README file, you have to fork it and work it in your local repository unless and until it is your own repository. So I can just go here, I can just change it, right? So, but you
Yeah.
you can't come here and you can't change it, right? Because you don't have the access to it. Okay,
Mhm.
yeah, that is how. Any more questions or anything you guys want to ask about open source?
When do we get a merge conflict?
Okay, so a merge conflict happens when two of the developers are working on the same file. Okay, so basically, how a merge conflict happen is, imagine I am working in this data and project program.json. Okay, I am working in the program.json, and in this event one, I am adding code triad, but someone is also working on this page, but he or she is adding num focus here. Okay, so now both of us are working on the same thing, and if both of us push the changes into this repository, the one who does it second, okay, the one who does it second, their PR will be there will be a prompt that this the PR has some merge conflict with the base branch, because the base branch will have code triad. Okay, but if someone is like working on the same thing but is completely changing this name and all the description, so it will show him or her a merge conflict. So I have someone here who also created a merge conflict, so you can see how he resolved here. Mm. You can see here various commits there, it is written merge conflict solved. Okay, there are various commit he did which is written merge conflict solved. Okay, so after you solve a merge conflict and you push it, a new commit is created. Okay, there are some merge conflict with this guy has solved. So that is how merge conflict works. When two or more are working on the same thing, same file, and are pushing on the same day or same time. That is happen. That is how merge conflict happens. Okay. You will know it eventually when you are just working on a large code base. There more people are working, so automatically you will have to like know more about it. So Googling always helps. Any more questions? I guess I'm clear that about how to create a PR and how to approach any organization and everything. If I'm not, you can ask anything you want to. If you want like to work on a beginner project, then this project you can work on it. This is my project. So this is an accepted project on Hacktoberfest. You can create issues, and also you can take any issue you want to. So yeah. Also, there are a lot of projects which you can work. You just have to find it and good to go. So no more questions.
I guess we covered all the topics we promised to cover in both the sessions.
Yeah,
So now we are open for questions. Also, you can this is what we had a thought of providing to you in this 2 sessions, so that you get the basics of open source. You know how you can search for projects and you can start contributing and working in OS projects from Hacktoberfest itself. And if you want any help, you can directly reach out to any Switch members, or you can contact Anirudh by DMing him on WhatsApp. And if you want us to do any further sessions on open source or related content, you can also give the same suggestions now itself.
yeah.
It would be great if we have a session on the bots that you were talking about.
Yeah, GitHub Actions, right? Yeah, yeah. Sure, we'll have one. GitHub Actions. This is, I have some, I have configured something here. So this is how GitHub Actions work.
Yeah, your suggestion is noted. We'll look forward to
Yeah.
have a session on that and cover that topic too.
So I
If we
guess
don't
we're
have any
done.
questions, yeah, then we can wind up the session. Anirudh, do you want to add to anything else?
No, nothing. Just okay. Start doing open source, because you have to make a public profile to show recruiters that yeah, you are capable of working on various projects outside your domain. And so you are helping others in maintaining their projects. Open source is basically just providing help to the other maintainers so that the project stays active and free.
This is a great way. It will add a lot of value to your CV or resume too. So make sure you do try it.
If you have any questions regarding any open source programs or anything, you can just ping me on WhatsApp. I'll be happy to.
We are also planning to share more resources
Yeah.
and opportunities as it comes. So we'll be doing it through mostly our Instagram or LinkedIn handles. So you can also keep a check on that, and we'll be updating more resources there itself.
Great.
Anything regarding big data?
Big data is to be honest, I don't have that is not my specific domain. So Smriti,
Yeah, like if you want us to have a session or a roadmap kind of thing on big data, yeah, so we'll consider the suggestion and we'll try to have one on it. If we have many people interested in the same domain, then we'll surely try to have a session on that.
there are a lot of ML AI projects also which you can actually contribute to. Not that there is only development you can contribute. I have listed everything here. Actually, you can also find various open source projects regarding specific domains. So you can just go to the projects page. Tonight we will just add a few more 50-60 projects. We are planning to add it tonight. We are making it live. So there you can choose web development, machine learning. You can just go to their repository. This is the Genia AI, which is the most popular open source repository regarding machine learning, which I have heard. So this is Gina AI. They are great. They are doing great work in the neural. They are creating a cloud native neural search framework for any kind of data. So you can see those issues, and if you think you are capable enough to solve it, so you can just ask them here. You ask them itself that what is this issue more about? Can you please explain this issue? So they will be explaining you the issue, and you can similarly work on that issue. You can see that it is very popular. It has 11,000 stars. So that's how you find some projects and regarding your domain and contribute to. Everything is meant written in the README folder, that how you can run it in your local repository. If you want to contribute, how you can start doing it. Every organization have their own guidelines, so that you have to just stick to their guidelines, and you're good to go. See, here you can also see that Jina is backed by Jina AI. We are actively hiring AI engineers, solution engineers to build the next neural search ecosystem in open source. You can also get hired from open source.
Yes, that's it for today. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you, everyone.